Hello, my dear children of ninth standard. Now, in this video, we are going to study a chapter from your Beehive book. The name of the chapter is Chapter number 3, The Little Girl, written by Catherine Mansfield. The theme of the story is the relationship between children and their parents. And the writer, Catherine Mansfield, wants to tell us that children share a very important bond of love with their parents. When children are small, young, they do not feel that their parents love them. But as the children grow up, they realize that all the acts done by their parents when they were young were beneficial for them. The parents were concerned for them, and beneath the strictness lies a heart full of love for their children. In this story, the little girl named Kezia, she was full of fear towards her father, and later on she understands that he was concerned for her and loved her. You can relate Kezia's story very well. So, before going on to the story, very first I'll give you a short introduction about the author. Catherine Mansfield was his pen name. Pen name means the name which she used in her writing. Her real name was Kathleen Mansfield Murray. Was a prominent modernist writer who was born and brought up in New Zealand. She took birth on 14th October 1888 and she died on 9th January 1923. So, let us begin the story. Kezia was a little girl who lived with her mother, her father, and her grandmother. She was afraid of her father and used to avoid him. She used to feel relieved on seeing her father go to his office. Kezia was so afraid of her father that she stuttered, means stammered in front of him. He appeared to her as harsh, rude, and critical. Now, to her, he was a giant with big hands, a big neck, and especially his mouth when he yawned. She was so scared that she appeared on the brink of suicide in his presence. Means so much. She had fear of her father. Even on Sundays, when Granny sent her down to have a nice talk with father and mother, she just stood there and looked at her mother reading and her father stretched out on the sofa. His handkerchief on his face, his feet on one of the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. One day, grandmother suggested that she should prepare a pin cushion for her father's birthday. Kezia stitched the three sides of the pin cushion casing. Now she wanted to stuff it with something. In her mother's room, on the bed table, she found many sheets of fine paper. She tore them off into big pieces and filled the pin cushion and stitched the fourth side. By mistake, she had used the very papers which contained her father's very important speech for the Port Authority. Though she accepted her mistake and tried to explain the reason behind it, her father was too angry to listen to anything and punished her with a ruler on her palms. She failed to understand the punishment meted out to her when she had already accepted her mistake. Bitterly, she said, "What did God make fathers for?" One evening, she saw Mr. MacDonald, her neighbor, playing with his 5 children, laughing and enjoying with them. This convinced Kezia that all fathers are not alike. Some are loving and caring like Mr. MacDonald, and some are cruel like her father. But soon her attitude towards her father also changed. One day her mother had to be taken to the hospital, and her grandmother accompanied her. Kezia was left alone in the house with the cook Alice. The day was fine, but the night was a different issue. She woke up in the middle of the night screaming as she had a horrible nightmare. She saw that the butcher with a knife and a rope who came nearer and nearer, smiling that dreadful smile, while she could not move, could only stand still. Butcher means a person who cuts animals, meat. So she was weeping out of fear. But when she opened her eyes, she saw her father beside her bed. He carried her to his bedroom and made her warm and comfortable on his bed. Father told her to rub her feet with his legs and set them warm. She felt very safe and comfortable with him. It was now she realized that her father was not all that of a giant, that he loved and cared for her in his own way, that he had to work the whole day to provide for his family and was too tired by the evening to play with her. So she was able to understand her father better from that night. So that's all in this story. Thank you.